in the great debate over the Power Rangers.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They look like your average teenagers, with one exception.
Morphin' time!
Zach, Kimberly, Billy, Trini, Tommy, and Jason have special powers. Their mission is to fight Lord Zed, an evil ruler who wants to take over the Earth.
You destroy them with the Green Ranger's own power!
By the fall of 1993, the soap opera storyline and colorful costumes began to captivate boys and girls as young as 4 years of age. Within weeks of their television debut, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers infiltrated the lives of children with the allure of a bionic Pied Piper. Just look at what happened when we asked these elementary school children if they knew who the Power Rangers were. The Ranger phenomenon has been a near tidal wave, with toy stores lining their shelves with endless products. In 1994, QVC, the TV home shopping service, set a record of selling $1.9 million of Power Ranger merchandise in only 2 hours. Not everyone is thrilled with the effect that the karate-kicking Power Rangers are having on children. Norway, Canada, and New Zealand have all given the Power Rangers the boot. Even here at home, some daycare centers have gone as far as to ban the Power Rangers from their schools, saying that the violence causes the children to act out too aggressively against their playmates.
The policy is that they are not permitted to bring Power Ranger figures into school.
Let's try. Good morning, kindergarten.
Christine Video is the director of Le Joie de Mai Daycare in Philadelphia. She banned the Power Rangers from her school because she felt children were getting the wrong message.
What I found with Power Rangers, the message that we're giving children is that to deal with conflict, we use aggression and we kick. And that was what we were seeing with our children.
And the aggressive behavior was obvious in both male and female children. April O'Byrne's mother, Evelyn, was relieved to learn of the director's ban on the toys.
We've, as the parents, have kind of found a nice support in the fact that the school is downplaying it and trying to direct the kids to some things that are more favorable and positive.
This phenomenon raises the questions, why are these young children so drawn to the Power Rangers? And why are they imitating their behavior? Dr. William Sonis, a psychiatrist at the Philadelphia Child Guidance Center, has a theory.
We're talking about younger children who have difficulty differentiating the fantasy of television from the reality of life and ways to solve problems. It's very reassuring to believe that there are magical ways to transform life and to be able to win over adversaries. That's a very appealing message. And I think that accounts for part of it.
But the Power Rangers are also set apart from other children's television because the characters are actors and not cartoon figures.
It is different. And what is different about it is it allows the youngsters to identify actually more closely with the Power Rangers than a cartoon, which also makes it more likely that they will imitate the behaviors.
Why do you think that the Power Rangers are being picked on and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were not?
Part of it is I think there's an accumulation of evidence over the past 15 or 20 years that we may not have had 20 years ago, from which we've been able to learn that exposure to television violence does have effects downstream from the immediate exposure. I think the Power Rangers just happen to represent one aspect of very successful TV programming / advertising, which has caused significant reaction because of the magnitude.
The Power Ranger hype has spilled into the American Karate Studios in South Philadelphia. Owner Mike Semarigula says the Power Rangers have spawned a sudden interest in karate.
The effect the Power Rangers had on the kids in here is they want to learn. They got involved. They like what they see on TV. They want to learn it. Not necessarily they want to go out there and be a tough guy. They want to learn it. They've seen it. They like it. They want to learn it.
I signed up for karate so I can be like the Power Rangers.
But at 8 years old, Dominique Ector says says she knows the difference between what she's learning in class and what she sees on TV.
They do their karate, but that's all they do. They don't tell you how to do it. Karate does.
And 6-year-old Dominic Petrick says he knows the limits of his powers.
We don't fight monsters, and we don't move.
Power Rangers!
Love them or hate them, for them or against them, chances are the Power Rangers' morphin magic will make its way into your child's life. Dr. Sonis offers these guidelines.
Cut down on the TV violence. Debrief the youngster after a show, for example. If, in fact, the parent allows the child to watch such a show, it might be important then to sit down afterwards and help the child recognize that the scenes that were watched are unreal and that these kind of events do not happen in life.
And he says parents should tell their children that talking about a problem is better than fighting.
Who's the guy now?
Master Lion Thunderzord power!
Go-Go Power Rangers.
Lacto Firebird Thunderzord power!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Tyrannosaurus Red Dragon Thunderzord power!
They're good guys. They're trying to do what's right to save the world.
Mega Thunderzord power up! Thunderzord, battle ready!
So I guess the question is, Pat, if the kids know the difference between the good guys and the bad guys, what's the fuss all about?
Well, Larry, actually, the problem comes in when the kids use those good guy kicking techniques against their playmates. That really can be a problem because sometimes the children, especially at that very young age, don't understand that they can really hurt each other.
What about increasing the desire for people to learn more about karate? I guess that's not a good thing, is it? Or is it?
Well, I'm not going to say whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. The interesting part about it is that the kids who do get involved with karate really find that they like it a lot. And then the other sidebar to that is that once the kids really get into it, they develop a sense of discipline, and they ultimately learn that fighting physically is an inappropriate way to behave with other children.
And by the way, we weren't making a statement about karate there. I just asked a question. But, you know, I'm wondering if the kids aren't allowed to watch the program, and some of the parents say no, they still hear about it every day anyway and see the toys in the store and the whole package.
Absolutely. In fact, we found it amazing. Whether the children were allowed to watch, whether they owned one Power Ranger figure or not, these kids, every child we spoke to, knew everything about the Power Rangers. And the surprising thing to me was that they even understood the mission of the Power Rangers, that the Power Rangers fought the... let me get it correct here.
Get it right.
Right. The Power Rangers are fighting to save the Earth from the evil monsters who want to take the Earth away.
You got to get it right.
Absolutely. They'll correct me.
Do you think they're going to be a flash in the pan or what?
Oh, no, I think they're going to be around for a little while. In fact, the whole thing started in earnest in the fall of 1993. Now, coming out this summer, there's going to be a new film. Also, there are some the creators who put the program together adding some new characters, so that'll be of more interest. The other thing is the marketers are now adding snack foods. So as soon as they do that, you know it's going to last a little while longer. So we're going to have to live with it for a bit.
They better be healthy.
Well,
right?
we hope so.
Thanks, Pat. When the Bulletin returns.
A storybook life. A look back at the life of Hope Montgomery Scott. Next on the Bulletin.
I really couldn't believe it when I picked up the morning paper this week and saw that Hope Montgomery Scott had died. I mean, when I interviewed her 6 months ago, she was the most alive and vital person of 90 years of age that I've ever met. Few of us will ever know the life that Hope lived. It was very privileged, but very few, even in the rarefied world of society, have ever lived a life like hers. A hopelessly romantic socialite who left men waiting at the doorstep. A woman portrayed in the movies by Katharine Hepburn and Grace Kelly. A dairy farmer, a devoted wife, a keeper of the flame of a Philadelphia that really no longer exists. So get ready. You're about to meet the woman who invented the words, party girl.
High society.
Before there was Louis Armstrong and Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra and Grace Kelly and high society, there was Hope.
Beautiful high society.
Did you enjoy the party?
Sure.
The prettiest sight in this fine, pretty world is the privileged class enjoying its privileges.
Even before there was Jimmy Stewart and Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn in the Philadelphia Story, there was Hope. In fact, neither movie would have existed without Hope.
I thought you gone home ages ago.
So nice to see you.
Meet Helen Hope Montgomery Scott. She's 90 now, still active and leading the life that was portrayed on screen by both Hepburn and Kelly. And it was from that life that writer Philip Barry developed the character and the idea for his Philadelphia Story. When they made the movie, The Philadelphia Story, were you there when they made it?
No, I was there only during the play. The play was rehearsed in Philadelphia, and we saw a lot of the whole cast of Jimmy Stewart and all of them, because we went to the rehearsals, and which was fun.
Do you watch it occasionally on tape? Do you see the movie, or?
No, I've seen the Philadelphia Story once.
Only once?
Yeah. But lots of people, they talk about it all the time.
Hope Scott hasn't got time to listen to that talk. She's too busy.
Hello? Leonard? How are you today?
Her day starts with a series of phone calls. Then she fixes breakfast for her husband Edgar. He's 95 and hasn't been well lately. Then it's off to Devon. Hope is the chairwoman and executive vice president of the Devon Horse Show. And it's not just a title. Then it's back home for lunch with Edgar. I like the way he calls you darling.
He's pretty nice, isn't he?
Oh, he's very romantic. Then off to the farm. Hope runs one of the most successful dairy operations in the country. And some evenings she's out to dinner or a party. A hectic pace, tough for someone half her age.
While I give to you, and you give to me true love.
Hope's life today is not all that different than it was years ago. The biggest part of her life, just like in the movies, is a love story. How long did the two of you go out or court before Edgar proposed to you?
3 months, less than that. I saw him 28 times.
You remember how many times you saw him?
Yeah, well, yeah, he does. I don't remember that at all. That's what he always tells everybody.
And when did you know he was the guy?
When what?
When did you know he was the one?
Oh, right off.
You did?
Yeah. I thought he was a very marvelous man, I thought. Marvelous older man of 24. And then when he proposed marriage to me, I said, but he said, well, you wouldn't marry me, would you? And I said, you bet I would.
They got married when she was 19, and they're still together. So, Hope, tell me, how do two people stay in love for 70 years?
It's him. He's special. Very attractive.
Well, what's the attraction?
What is the attraction?
Yeah.
I suppose that, well, you got to have your sex appeal has to last, doesn't it?
I don't know, does it?
For one another, you can't go to anything like 40 years, 20 years. Anyhow, that has to be part of it. And I think you get a challenge for the person's mind and personality and character and the things he likes to do. That means a lot to me.
Is the sex appeal still there?
Excuse me?
Sex appeal still there?
Oh, sure.
It is?
Certainly. Well, he can't move around much, but he looks awfully nice to me.
They have 2 sons, Edgar, who ran the family business, the brokerage firm of Janney Montgomery Scott, and Robert, the president of the Philadelphia Art Museum.
Theirs is the most extraordinary love story I've ever seen. They just adore each other. And I think one of the things that possibly keeps, most obviously my father, that keeps going is that he keeps them both going, is that they want to be with each other.
Your life has not been exactly an ordinary life.
No, I think it's a great life. I've loved my life. I wanted to get around and meet everybody.
Right.
You know, I really enjoy people a lot. So that was my idea of a great deal of pleasure, was to meet people.
And she got to meet plenty. Among them, Helen Hayes and Cary Grant and the Duke of Windsor. For years, she was listed among the best-dressed women in the country. But Hope's love affair with Edgar was preceded by another lifelong love affair.
When I was 4 years old, somebody gave my mother a pony for me. And so they put me, and I had seen, my father was always fox hunting and had horses. So they put me on the pony, and I absolutely fell in love with riding.
And that brings us back to Devon. It's been one of the top horse shows in the country since it started back in 1896. And Hope has been out there virtually every day recently, trying to help get it ready for this year.
Oh, the plants are great, aren't they? I think we're getting better and better at this job. Am I boasting? Don't you think, maybe?
No,
hopefully.
Practice. You've had enough practice, actually.
Yeah, look at how many years I've been doing this.
How many years here at Devon?
Have I been at Devon?
Yes.
Do you want the first time I came to Devon?
When was the first year?
About 1912.
Wow.
Yeah, I rode my sister's pony that turned a somersault right there. It was my first time. Terrible pony. It was too slow.
But Hope was back the next year on a horse named Major. And for years, she was one of the top riders in the country. Skilled with both hunters and jumpers, a rare feat being able to master two disciplines. But it did not come easily. There was a lot of pain. Hope fractured her skull, broke her back twice, and broke her nose. She eventually had to give up riding, but that didn't stop her from getting on a bull last year, a day before her 70th wedding anniversary. Bulls have become important to Hope because of her dairy farm, still the largest one operating on the main line, with about 300 cows producing more than 3 tons of milk a day. Hope began running it after her father died in 1949. With as busy a day as she's got at age 90, you'd think Hope Scott's reputation as a party girl would have diminished. It hasn't.
You going to bring me the liquor?
Absolutely.
For the party?
You know, a lot of people call you the party girl.
Yeah.
Do you like that description?
Well, I know I'm a party girl. I mean, I'm a serious party girl. I was brought up to be a party girl. My mother wanted a big house like that. She wanted a child that would get to know people and try to have the same type of life that she had. You see, the thing is that I have two sides, or about 3 or 4 sides. And I'm a worker. I run the dairy farm, and also the only time I'm a party girl is at night.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Oh.
But there are exceptions. This week, Hope hosted a cocktail party for the sponsors of the Devon Horse Show and Country Fair. The proceeds of the show go to help the Bryn Mawr Hospital, one of several charities Hope is involved with.
She's an enormously colorful character and has been all of her life, and increasingly so, as a matter of fact. Probably more colorful at 90 than she was at 40. But a wonderful, vibrant, humorous, energetic, and quite hard-working character.
Well, actually, now that I'm so old, I really like the life I'm able to do. I see a lot of people, and I like seeing people. I'm very glad that I run this dairy farm and have this project. I like going to parties, to dinners. I like meeting people. I adore meeting people. I think they're fascinating.
My mother has the most wonderful use of the English language. I mean, she can swear absolutely beautifully. And if a dog is ever foolhardy enough to either chase a cow or a horse in my mother's sight, I have seen her shout invectives that would make a longshoresman blanch.
10 years ago, for her 80th birthday, a poetic toast was given for Hope. In part, it read, "When not mucking out the stables, you might find her dressed in sables, with accessories of diamonds, whitest blue. Dirty stories don't offend her, and if you've an ear to lend her, she might even try to shock you with a few."
This is this man. He went to the doctor, and he said to the doctor, "I think my wife is dead." And the doctor said, "Come on, what are you talking about? What makes you think your wife is dead?" Well, he said, "The sex is all right, but the dishes are piling up."
Though based broadly on Hope's early life, the movie The Philadelphia Story was not at all biographical.
Now you've got all the arrogance of your class, all right, haven't you?
Oh, what have classes to do with it? What do they matter except for the people in them?
As one close friend of the family says of the character Tracy Lord, the one played by Katharine Hepburn, Tracy Lord was brittle and a bit arrogant, and there's not any of that in Hope.
Most people, when they look at your life, would say, wow, this is a Cinderella tale. How can anybody possibly have gone through an entire life, 90 years, entertaining, socializing, enjoying, being with people, giving to the community? Is it enough?
Well, I think if I had lived my life over again, I really think I've loved it. I think it's been as good, close to heaven as it could be.
As close to heaven as it could be. What a life and what a legacy. Not everyone, of course, has the means to live the way Hope Montgomery Scott lived her life, but she does leave us with a pretty high standard in one regard. She had this love of life that probably kept her so young for so long. Maybe the whole idea is to be active, to have a cause, a reason for being. In any event, I really enjoyed meeting Hope Montgomery Scott, and I'm so happy that she let us into her world before she left ours. When the Bulletin returns.
Future automobiles. And the Bulletin Snapshot of the Week. But up first, what are these people saying? Find out next on the Bulletin. With Larry Kane.
There is something absolutely fantastic about music. Sometimes it puts you in a better mood, brings back incredible memories. And there's an especially evocative kind of music. Maybe you heard it in the stairwell of your high school or walking in the old neighborhood. While people move on, music lives forever. And it is with the street corner sound that it is so catchy, it becomes part of your entire being. In Philadelphia and around the world, that music is called doo wop. There are songs many of us carry forever in our hearts. Memorable songs like this started in the 50s when hair was short, cars were long, and the music was doo wop.
Now they often call me Speedo, but my real name is Mister.
It makes you happy. It makes you feel good. It's something that happened in your life.
When I was a young child, I would take my allowance every week and go to the store and buy my 45. And I just have kept them ever since.
There was a lot of protecting your girl back then and fighting for your girlfriend and don't look at her or else.
Philadelphia was a hotbed of doo wop music, and some legendary singers still live and work here. See if you can recognize the man trying to sell this couple some lamps at a flea market in Lansdowne.
It was at 35, 2 for 35? Yeah, sure.
He looked like this in the late 50s, and his smooth, clear vocal style was unmistakable. Here's a clue. He'll even sing one of his big hit records to help make the sale.
Long, long and lonely night, I cry my eyes out over you. Oh, long, long and lonely night.
The lamp salesman was born with the name Arthur Lee Andrew Thompson. We knew him in the 50s as Lee Andrews. Lee and his backup group, the Hearts, recorded a string of memorable hits like Long Lonely Nights, Try the Impossible, and of course, Teardrops.
I sit in my room, looking out at the rain. My tears are like crystals, they cover my window pane.
Lee and current Hearts, Richard Booker and Richard Swoop Mason, still sing in our area about twice a month, usually at oldie shows.
Oh, if we only could start over again.
Although Lee Andrews has sung throughout the world and appeared with most of the major stars of rock and roll, he treasures the stories of singing to defend his Southwest Philadelphia neighborhood.
The groups would actually meet and challenge each other to a duel. And this is how we knew who was the baddest in Philadelphia. We sang them guys off the mat. Some great competition too, like the Blue Notes and sure Hal Melvin, the Intruders, people like that, sure. And we got together and on a Good Friday night, and the guy naturally that survived was the guy that all the honeys, just loved and applauded.
Lee Andrews' music still inspires people. There's a beauty salon at the flea market in Lansdowne. And on the day we were there, they were playing Lee's records.
The Bluebird of Happiness. I love that. I love that music. She's really she's our mascot, right?
According to doo-wop disc jockey Lee Jollis, known to his listeners as Mr. Lee, a good doo-wop song should have certain key elements.
Well, you really need a great bass. very important. Bassman has to stand out, and he has to be bold, and he has to be aggressive.
Bomb, 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 dang, 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 ding, dong.
What did he say?
Bomb, 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 dang, 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 ding, dong, ding, blue.
Okay, so maybe the lyrics don't exactly make sense, but they do evoke a feeling.
The lead is almost screaming at certain times.
Sound like a cat.
And doo-woppers like this group called A Perfect Blend will tell you it always helps to sing where there's an echo. The roots of doo-wop come from gospel music. In the early 50s, vocal groups like the Orioles and the Five Keys took that sound and added an urban touch. By the late 50s, hundreds of groups had formed, including a quartet called Rick and the Masters from 22nd and Morris Streets in South Philadelphia. The group broke up in 1964 when the doo-wop era gave way to the Motown sound and the British invasion. But in the early 80s, when group harmony made a comeback, so did Rick and the Masters.
And if he wants to be what she wants him to be,
We found them singing live, a cappella style, on DJ Harvey Holiday's radio show.
and their love will never fade or die. Let them love and be loved.
The a cappella groups carry on the tradition. They love the music so much. And you get 4 or 5 guys or ladies, and you put them together. It's like a basketball team. They practice, they have the great harmony, and they sing the songs that they love by the, the old groups, the Harptones and the Spaniels. And it's fabulous. I know a cappella groups that guys had sung in high school. They met at a wedding, hadn't seen each other in 20 years. 2 weeks later, they had a group. And they're singing for money. They go to Crass Brothers, they get 5 suits that look alike, and boom, they're in showbiz again. So it's great, Hey, let's make it 2 in a row from a group the Holiday Doo-Wop Show, the fabulous Flamingos on Oldies 98.
My love must be a kind of blind love.
Harvey Holiday plays only doo-wop on his Street Corner Sunday show on WOGL Radio. On an average Sunday, hundreds of callers phone in their requests.
I play the things that have been established over the years as the great doo-wop songs. It makes you happy. It makes you feel good. It's something that happened in your life. Everybody can sing it.
Stand by me, stand by me. That's all I know, so I don't want to make an idiot of myself. Doo-wop-a-dop.
And this music has always been connected with great folklore. A doo-wop classic, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, was recorded by New York City's Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers in 1955. Lyman was only 13 at the time and was one of the group's backup singers.
The day of the recording session, Herman, who was going to be the lead singer, had a bad cold, so they decided to let Frankie Lyman, because he was the only guy that knew the words, sing the lead. And he became, a superstar of doo-wop.
Harvey Holiday says it's hard to pick the most popular doo-wop song of all time, but there's one with a Philadelphia connection that stands out more than any other.
Besides from Spaceland, they said, what's a doo-wop record? I think most people would play Freddie Paris and the Five Satins in the Still of the Night. He was on guard duty somewhere in South Philly, maybe the Naval Yard. He wrote the song at like 3 in the morning in guard duty, went to a church in his hometown in New Haven, Connecticut, cut the record on the Standard label, which is very valuable, they say, if you have it.
Collectors say the original in the Still of the Night is worth around $1,000. But get this, record collector Val Shively showed us this rare 45 worth $16,000. It's called I Can't Believe. The group is the Hornets.
I can't believe.
I I can't believe this record sold for 16 grand.
The people that don't appreciate say, sounds like 5 guys dying. Well, you know, whatever. So let more die like this. This is great. Gee, you hear the hiss? You don't get that with the CD.
Shively buys and sells rare and valuable doo-wop records from his warehouse in Upper Darby. It's called R&B Records, and you won't believe this place. A dizzying array of records on shelves, on tables, everywhere you look.
You talked about the, you know, the way it looks in here. You know, to the people who care about the music and love it. I mean, this is the way they would want it. You know, most people come in here and put their head in here and say, "See you later." What the hell is this?
Val, who's 50 now, started collecting records in the 6th grade. Through the years, he's sold thousands, but he still has a few left.
Over 4 million. 2 million here, 1 million upstairs, 1 million upstairs, and 1 million on the 2nd floor, at least, maybe more. I mean, I stopped counting years ago.
Hey now, hey now, hey now, everybody, finger popping time.
You can get a taste of the good old days on any weekend night at places like Patsy's Pub in Frankfurt. This group is called A Moment's Pleasure.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. The name of the place, I like it like that. So come on.
Michael's Bar and Restaurant in Center City is another popular place to see live doo-wop. The night we were there, members of a Philadelphia vocal group from the early 60s, the Butlers, struck up some sounds from the bar. Bartender Helene Cavello schedules the singing groups at Michael's. She's also a huge rock and roll fan. She says the doo-wop groups give the crowd a special feeling.
Most people that come in here don't have any idea who sang the song originally or what year or what label it was on, but it brings back a memory for them. It's like, oh, I remember where I was when that song was playing in the still of the night or whatever at my prom, and those days are good days for most people.
And the good old days are paying off for some younger people, too. Earlier, we showed you A Perfect Blend. They're from the Logan and Germantown neighborhoods of the city, and they're creating new audiences for the old music. When they sang at 30th Street Station, a crowd gathered, including the station's security guard. We feared he might ask the group to leave for creating a disturbance. But it turns out guard Mitchell Dixon was an old doo-wopper himself.
Times were simpler then, and a lot more uncomplicated, I guess. And you were feeling good back in 58 and 59. You know, you're looking good too.
Teardrop, teardrop, falling on teardrop, teardrop, it goes on softly. Oh, if we only could start over.
Well, if you wondered who put the bop in the bop shabop shabop, now you know. You said I couldn't say that, did you? I'm still amazed that there's this wonderful sound out there that doesn't have any backup musicians. It's all in the human voice. And I bet you were surprised there are so many talented people right here who are doo-wopping it all the time. If you want to catch some of these sounds of the harmony, there's a doo-wop show coming up at the Theater of the Living Arts on South Street. That's January 21st. Or you can go to Patsy's in Frankfurt or Michael's in Society Hill. I have to add, ever since we started working on this story, our staff has been bopping and doo-wopping around the station. I think pretty soon there'll be a new group called the Bulletins. But believe me, they won't be getting a recording contract anytime soon. When the Bulletin returns tonight.
Ever wondered what the mayor's favorite car is? Find out next on the Bulletin. In your home.
3 tonight. He paid a woman to have his baby. Then he was accused of beating the child day after day, a shocking case of child abuse. And Pat Cherokee with the Mummers in Florida. They are fighting back. The story at 11.
Leather furniture from Lane.
I'm looking forward to this one. It is that time of year again. The new cars are coming out there. There are fantasy cars, and this year it's all at the brand new convention center. You know I'm talking about the 1995 Philadelphia International Auto Show. Car lovers of all types have been filling the convention center, taking a look at the fantasy cars of all sorts, including, of course, the Flintmobile, which I don't think anyone wants to see on the streets of Philadelphia. Come with us as News 3's Dick Sheeran takes us to this year's auto show, where we can see the latest at Philadelphia's car fair.
It has all the fanfare of a Hollywood premiere.
One great car that goes beyond your expectations.
For a free prize. And all the down-home fun of a county fair.
That'll deep clean, disinfect, deodorize any kind of carpet, oriental, domestic, shag, wool, nylon. You see what's happening now?
America has always had a love affair with its cars. And Philadelphia takes a backseat to no one when it comes to its auto show.
I want to see the cars, man. I'm fascinated by cars. I'm a car freak.
Oh, it's decent, man. They got decent cars here, man. I'd love to buy a Ford Mustang, so I'm just here to drool, really.
It's the first year the auto show has made its home at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. And the new location is host to cars that are modern, postmodern, and for the modern Stone Age family.
The 59th Philadelphia Auto Show has its share of fun and food. And if you're tired of driving that Tin Lizzie of yours, this is the place to look for an upgrade with all the modern luxuries. Ah, but of course.
Many came for the one-stop shopping.
Yeah, you go to a dealer here and a dealer there, but you don't get to see the full scope of everything that's available, and here you do.
But most are here for dreaming.
I like looking at cars I know I could never afford. Oh, the Benz. Definitely a Rolls Royce. That one I think is a bargain at only $284,000. I mean, really.
And there were other dreamers.
This is a prototype. I would like to tell you they built just for me. They didn't. But I am going to get the pleasure in a few seconds of sitting in that prototype Mustang. I'd never drive it because it probably goes a little too fast, but I'm going to get the pleasure of sitting in it. And the Mustang's my favorite car.
But some people showed up for another reason.
We came to see Rusty. See Rusty? No, I just came to see Rusty.
Race car driver Rusty Wallace.
Well, I don't know why, but I seem to have a lot of female fans.
Rusty!
It's a neat response, but I like the women liking me more, to tell the truth. No problem.
The future of the auto industry is present at the show, and most like the changes.
Each year, each company tries to outdo itself with a new style, a new look, and I think it's fabulous. So cars keep advancing for the next, 50 or 60 years. Who knows, we may have flying cars in no time.
I don't know, more and more starting to look more like the Jetsons.
And if you're looking for a ray of hope for the environment, check out this solar car.
We hope to see auto manufacturers adopt this technology and use it in production vehicles within the next several years.
And the car makers have responded to tomorrow's needs. And you'd be surprised at what Americans feel they really need.
The public has come into the showroom asking not for airbags, but cup holders.
We only want to pick up trucks with cup holders.
Cup holders. We've gone from 0 cup holders to having an automobile with the most.
Apparently the Germans have finally decided to put cup holders in the 700s to be able to sell to the American market.
Well, at least I'm not the only one who eats in the car. But some people wouldn't risk getting mustard stains. You know, looks can be everything.
Key. Absolutely key. Has to fit the image. If you don't feel good in it, don't buy it.
Well, I mean, if you're the tacky kind of person, I mean, you know, you wouldn't care how it looks, you know what I mean? But me, I gotta have a little class, you know what I'm saying?
And it's really hard to buy if it costs too much, or if you're just too young to drive. But they have high hopes for the road ahead.
I'll take anything that has wheels and moves. I don't like the school bus or my bicycle anymore, so I want a car now, and that's why I'm here.
By next year, I'll be going 80 on the freeway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this could very well be the sport utility of the future.
Although there are no pushy car salesmen at the show, there are people making a pitch. And if you ask the spokesmodel if she comes with the car, she's already heard that one.
People try to test me. They don't think that the spokesmodels know anything about the car, that we're just here to stand next to the car, and little do they know that we have knowledge of the vehicles and we're very prepared.
If I learned anything about cars, it's not just the way to get from one place to another. Their image, their freedom. And if you want to eat in your car, they now have cup holders too.
That's you. I love it.
Cup holders. Our news cars need cup holders badly. The auto show will be here through Sunday, Saturday 10 to 10, Sunday 10 to 6. Admission is $8 for adults and $4 for children, and free for children 6 and under. Although they say there's plenty of parking, if you take mass transit into Center City, you will get a discount. So take the trip to the convention center and see for yourself Mayor Eddie's favorite car and all those exotic cup holders when the Bulletin returns.
Up next, the Bulletin Snapshot of the Week.
The Bulletin with Larry Kane is brought to you in part by Dodge.
1994 was our best retail sales year ever. Over 1 million new Dodges were sold. So we're celebrating with $500 cash back on select Dodge Caravans.
Thanks a million.
Get up to $1,147 total savings and values on Intrepid.
Come join the million sold on Dodge.
Going on now at your Dodge dealer. Hurry in today.
Overweight men, women, and teens. Start losing weight today at Quick Weight Loss Centers.
I'm living proof. At age 67, you can lose 143 pounds. I've missed so much in life by not doing it sooner.
Before losing 28 pounds, I looked older than I felt. Now I'm never embarrassed to see old friends.
Grand opening, Atlantic City area and Reading. For our unbeatable new low rate, call Quick Weight Loss, 1-800-526-SLIM.
Your car is still under warranty, but it's got a problem the dealer isn't able to fix. You may have a lemon. If you do, in New Jersey you can take legal action. For example, you may be entitled to a refund for your car and money for expenses, including the cost of a rental car. Lemons are fine for drinks, but for cars, they're the pits. The law, it's on your side.
They say good things come to those who wait. Baloney. At Court Furniture Rental Clearance Center, right now is the time to buy furniture. It's Court's big sale. 30 to 70% off brand name pre-lease furniture, like sofas, desks, and bedrooms. So why pay retail? Hurry to Court Furniture Rental Clearance Center now, because they also say, you snooze, you lose.
Court Furniture Rental Clearance Center, you save more, 'cause it's been rented before.
Get the Franklin Institute weather forecast tonight at 11.
We love hearing from you, so keep those letters coming. Regarding our story about saving the bears in New Jersey, we got this letter from Priscilla Cummings of Woodbury, New Jersey. She writes, "It was so touching when the bear cub was tagged in the ear. The pinch seemed to make him cry out, ouch, just like a cry from a baby. He was so cute, I wanted to hug him." Regarding the story we did last week on con artists, we got this letter from Philip Jamison III of Westchester, PA. He writes, "You were quite correct in warning viewers about these fakers. I was disappointed, however, when you described one gypsy woman as an honest fortune teller. What is an honest fortune teller? One who can actually predict the future, or one who honestly believes she can?" We've also been asking for snapshots. We got one that you're not going to believe. This is from Pete Murmur of Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. and it's of his little buddy, Pocono Charlie. So watch the snapshot of the week and see how happy Charlie is that Penn State won the Rose Bowl. Charlie is, of course, the chipmunk, and Mr. Murmur says he somehow trained him to pose for these pictures. Do you believe that? We found it so intriguing that in a few weeks we're going to go out to meet Mr. Murmur and Pocono Charlie, and we'll show you how they got those pictures. As you know, we always like hearing from you, so if you want to write us or address us, the Bulletin staff, KYW 3, 101 South Independence Mall East, Philadelphia, 19106. Our email address is thebulletin@microserve.com. You can find us anywhere on the internet. Next week, compulsive gambling, an addiction that can ruin a life and the lives of family members. You know the early warning signs? We'll tell you next week. This man is getting treated for a chronic disease, and now some area lawmakers want to make it more difficult to continue treatment over a long period of time. The ailment? Lyme disease. We'll find out exactly what's going on. And sometimes the faces of radio are as big as their voices, and their hair may be longer. You'll get to meet WMMR's voice of rock and roll, Pierre Robert. We'll hear what he has to say about, among other things, Frank Sinatra. All that and more next week on The Bulletin. I'll see you later tonight at 11 on News 3. Right now, for the staff of The Bulletin, thanks for being with us, and have a great weekend. Good night.
Start your engines, Delaware Valley. The Philadelphia International Auto Show is back January 7th through the 15th at a new location, the Pennsylvania Convention Center. See hundreds of new 95 model vehicles from over 40 manufacturers. See concept vehicles, exotic cars from Bugatti, Ferrari, and Lamborghini, plus Rusty Wallace's NASCAR and the Flitmobile. Meet the lovely new addition to Baywatch, Yasmin Bleeth, better known as Caroline. It's the Philadelphia International Auto Show, January 7th through the 15th at the new Pennsylvania Convention Center. Don't let it pass you by.